Hey, how's it going, guys? Stonewall.
And D-Train with Raised by Sharks.
And today we're going to put the myths of Monster Hunter World to the test.
Before we start, guys, I want to shout out Cham Cannon for suggesting this myth. For our first myth, we're going to be testing out whether or not critical boost affects critical element. So as everyone knows, critical boost is a very strong skill in Monster Hunter. Now the way critical boost works currently is it only affects your raw physical damage and does not touch your elemental damage. Whereas critical element is supposed to be the exact opposite, where it only touches your elemental damage and does not touch your raw. In order to test this out, I decided to use lances just because they're very easy to test with. I'm also going to have to use two separate lances so I can test regular critical boost versus critical boost and critical element. Normally with a critical hit, you hit for 25% extra damage, but with critical boost you hit 40% extra damage. If the percentage number from our first tests with critical boost are very similar to our final test with the elemental one with critical element and critical boost, then this myth will be busted. But if the numbers don't add up, if they're too far apart, then this myth is actually confirmed that they do not work together. For testing, I used a few different builds. For the elementless one, I had two, one of them with just the lance and a master charm to increase your critical, and the other with a master charm as well as 3 critical boost. For the elemental lance, I actually had to use 4 different builds, one with just the lance and the master charm, one with the lance, the master charm, and 3 critical boost, one with the lance, the master charm, as well as the Rathalos set bonus, final one with the master charm with critical boost and critical element. Now you might say, why 2 lances? The elementless lance is going to be your baseline for your critical boost. Your numbers should be somewhat similar percentage wise when you get to the final build of 3 critical boost and the critical element on the elemental lance. We're looking at percentages here, not actual damage numbers, because they are 2 different weapons. So let's get down to the numbers. For the elementless lance, you normally hit for a 37 and crit for a 47, which is a 27% damage increase with your critical. With crit boost, you normally hit for 37 as well, and you crit for 52, which is a 13.5% increase or 40.5% increase overall. For the elemental lance, I hit for 47 and then critted for 56, which is a 19.1% increase. With 3 levels of critical boost, I hit for 47 still, and then a 62 critical, which is a 12.8% increase over the normal crit, and it's 31.9% overall. With the critical element, I hit for 47 again and critted for 59, which is a 6.4% increase with a 25.5% total. And with both of them activated, I hit for 47 normally and then a crit for 65, which is a 19.2% increase or a 38.3% total increase. So in the end, these percentages are very similar. 40.5% to 38.3 is not far off from each other. There is a lot of rounding when it comes to Monster Hunter damage numbers, so it very well could be a lot closer if there's a little bit less rounding involved. In the end, this myth is actually busted. Critical boost and critical element do work together on an elemental weapon.
This next myth is that the vaal hazak recovery set bonus works with recovery up skills. So to test that, we're going to blow ourselves up with mega barrel bombs, and we're going to see how long it takes from the point we take damage up until peak performance skill reactivates, affirming that we are at full health again. So because of the equipment having it on there, I do have 2 speed recovery to start with. I'm going to test it with the recovery up skill, and if we see that reduce the time, then we know that it in fact does work with it. Okay, and right there when he glows is when we stop the timer. It's about 8 seconds. Slot in 3 recovery up skills to give us the full effect. Okay, and there it is activated. And then finally, before I crunch the numbers for you guys, I'm going to test it with the recovery speed being increased. So the difference might be very minute because we're only going up from level 2 to level 3. But when I put it into a calculator with the exact times, because I can check it frame by frame, it should show up. Alright, so if you look at the graphic, you can see the numbers for yourself, and the myth explains itself. Looking at the numbers, this myth is confirmed. Okay, so this last myth is kind of a 2-for-1 deal. The myth is that the range mods on heavy bowgun have diminishing returns, and that the close range is better than the long range mod. The way I'm going to test that is I made 4 identical heavy bowguns that have all of the ammos I would need, because I'm going to test it with pierce, spread, and normal just to see the difference between the mods and to make it easier to check it out. And then I'm going to just swap in and out because they have all 3 levels of the mods. And to make sure that I'm staying in the proper range to deal the ideal amount of damage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a raw meat at the spot where I'm dealing the maximum damage. So with no mods, it won't make a difference. So as long as I'm in the correct range, I'll deal the same amount of damage. So I'm going to place that and test the first one. Okay, no modded Pierce is 10 per tick. Normals is 14. Okay, I placed the raw meat when I found my maximum range damage. It's actually pretty far, and it was fairly forgiving. The range is actually fairly big. I'm right in the meat of it. So with Pierce, it's now 12. It went up from 10 to 12, meaning it's a 20% increase. So now with normal shots, it actually has me out of the range, so I'm just going to step just until I'm within the threshold of it. And it's still 14. Okay, now with 2 range mods with Pierce, I'm getting 13, meaning it's a 30% increase, which is showing signs of diminishing returns. We can't be sure until we test out the final set yet. Now let's test out normal shots. Still showing 14 from within critical distance. But I'm not hitting for ones anymore when outside of the distance. Okay, finally with 3 range mods, Pierce gets 14 per shot, meaning it's a 40% increase. This tells me that the first mod gives you 20%, and each mod after that only gives you 10. Now let's test this out with normal one more time. Still only 14, and with 1s and 2s from outside of the proper range. Okay, keeping everything the same, except now I'm doing it with the close range mods for spread. Okay, within critical distance, take about another step closer before we get too close and damage drops. And let's test it out. Okay, 8 per tick. Okay, now with 1 mod, standing on the meat, goes up to 10. So it looks like it's 20% yet again. Okay, now 2 mods, brings it up to 11. Okay, and now 3 mods actually has it staying at 11 no matter the range. Okay, now just for consistency's sake, I rose the attack on the build. We're going to ignore any critical hits and just look at the non-criticals. So non-critical with no mod is 9. With 3 mods, it goes up to 12. So it goes up 3 damage per pellet on attack boost 7, going from no mods to 3 mods on this weak gun. Now, on a stronger gun, you might get a little bit more of a variance because of the way the rounding system works in Monster Hunter World, but so far it looks like it's a little bit less than the Pierce. I'll have to crunch the numbers in a minute to give you a definitive answer, though. Okay, so after crunching the numbers, I found out that 1 mod on Pierce for the long range will give you 20%. The second long range will bring you to 30%, giving you 10% more. And the third mod will bring you to a 40% total damage increase from the original. Going over to spread for the close range, it looks like it's the same thing, where it tries to give you 20, then 30, then 40% for each upgrade. So it does in fact have diminishing returns, but only slightly. It doesn't drop from 20 to 10 to 5, it just drops from 20 to 10 to 10. So it is diminishing returns. That myth is confirmed, but the fact that the spread mod for close range is better than the long range mod that you would use on Pierce is totally busted. They're the exact same amount, and in fact, because of the way that the rounding works, at least on low level guns, it looks like you would get more actually out of the Pierce gun. Alright, that's it for this episode of Monster Hunter World Mythbusters. If you disagree with the way we tested any of these myths, let us know in the comments down below.
If you have any other ideas for myths that we could test out, let us know down below.
Thanks for watching Raised by Sharks. Remember to leave a like and subscribe for more.